Hello friends, this is Coldrun. Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker. We're here in the Hall of the Radiant Host in Radz-at-Han with our wind-up Aymeric, whose head is disturbingly human-like. I don't know, it's like a regular-sized head put on that minion body. It's weird. But anyway, we're with him because we're going to try one of the role quests today, which is with the Ishgardian delegate, so why not have a wind-up Aymeric? Ishgardian delegate are aching souls. The Ishgardian delegate seeks a battle mage with courage unwavering. Well, that's me. Ah, my lady Kukushu, I have awaited your coming. The phenomenon wherein men turn into monsters, it pains to say that Ishgard has not been spared. A dread blasphemy has appeared in the Holy See, and to compound the people's horror, the beast resembles a dragon. Of course it does. 'Tis imperative that it be vanquished without delay, and to that end we have begun assembling a hunting party. Given that fear and despair may turn our allies against us, we are being stringent in whom we choose for this duty. Yet while we have confidence in the quality of our knights, the mission would greatly benefit for the presence of a battle mage, one who can stand unflinching in the face of our fell quarry. We would be hard-pressed to find an individual who fits that description better than you. Will you not lend us your strength and skill? I will. You can count on me. We are in your debt. Just a moment while I relay the glad tidings to command. So, I wonder if this is gonna be just like a new delegate that works with us, or if it's gonna be someone from the Heavensward expansion, or just Ishgard in general. 'Tis settled. Upon arriving in Ishgard, please take yourself to the Aetheroid Plaza. Lord Artoirel... Oh, shit! Artoirel will be there. Okay. He's the less annoying son who survived. He's the less annoying currently living son of the Count, right? May the Fury speed your way. Again, it's been a long time since I played Heavensward, so please accept my apologies in advance for all the people I'm going to forget if we see old people. Hello, Artoirel. Kukushu, I have been expecting you. Words cannot express how heartening it is to have you fighting beside us. My clothing is probably not appropriate for this weather. Aymeric, allow me to echo that sentiment. Oh shit, we got Aymeric in tow. Greetings, my friend. Lest you wonder, Lord Artoirel and I are leading the effort to deal with the blasphemy. I am glad to have one of the people, one of the kind of new transplants to Final Fantasy XIV from WoW calls Lord McHandsomeface, I think. Greetings, my friend. Lest you wonder, Lord Artoirel and I are leading the effort to deal with the blasphemy. With your capable self in the fold, I have no doubt that we shall succeed. So do I. I'm sure we got this. Artoirel, without further ado, I shall brief you on the situation. 'Twas a handful of days after the first beasts appeared in Radz-at-Han. Are we going to get one of those sepia-toned, yeah. An Elezen man was observed at the hoplon in the pillars, walking with an unsteady gait. Oh, this must have been... I'm thinking, because there were, back when the blasphemy started appearing, we saw those first images of, like, from the perspective of a couple of people, and one of them was in Ishgard. This probably was that. All of a sudden, he buckled over as if in pain, and before anyone knew what was happening, he had transformed into a terrible, draconic beast. Oh, wow, that's a really cool dragon. That's a really dragony dragon. At the mere sight of this, many who chanced to be present also turned, and regrettably the Temple Knights were forced to put them down. So one of them was, some of them turned into just those Terminus beasts, but one of them was just a straight-up dragon. The blasphemy itself, however, took wing and fled. Profane Fafnir. Fafnir, why is that name familiar to me? That was that something from Final Fantasy XII, or Tactics, from that world? Profane Fafnir, we have chosen to call it, after the dragon man of Ishgardian myth. Fafnir. It's definitely from something in the Final Fantasy past. I just can't put my finger on what I played that had Fafnir in it. I want to say Tactics, but I could absolutely be wrong. Artoirel. Since that day, the beast has oft been sighted in the skies above Ishgard. It does not attack, only circles menacingly for a time ere disappearing again. Alas, these brief visitations are enough to cause more people to turn and for fear and panic to spread further. As part of our investigation, we have sought to identify the man who became the blasphemy, but thus far we have learned naught. All these stories are going to be heartbreaking because they're all like, someone to become a blasphemy, someone has to be in the pits of despair. No one's just, like, I don't know, playing basketball in the park when they become a blasphemy. We have, however, identified a common thread between those who have subsequently turned. All were people of fervent faith, such as priests and inquisitors. Interesting. That's a surprise. When the truth of our... Oh, never mind, that makes sense. Artoirel, when the truth of our nation's history was laid bare, the legitimacy of the church was called into question. Yeah, so those are the people who are already kind of on the precipice in terms of despair, because their whole, like, the foundation of their lives and faith was upended already. Aymeric. Many Ishgardians struggle to reconcile the revelations with their beliefs, and none so more than the pious. Such men and women, we posit, would be susceptible more to despair, and therefore the transformation. We must find a way to stop it. Ishgard has only just emerged from a 1,000-year war, and we cannot suffer another great tragedy, much less so soon. I wonder if the dragons are going to help us out. They can't be happy with someone parading around in, like, a forced Halloween mask of them doing killing in their face. Artoirel. In order to obtain a better understanding of the situation, we intend to speak with a member of the clergy. The sole individual who survived witnessing the blasphemy's birth without being turned. Clem is his name, and he is a deacon at St. Raymond's Cathedral. Come, let us seek him out there at once. Okay. Let's go see Clem. Here we are, in the Cathedral of St. who? This is St. Remino. Okay. Artoirel. Here he is, Deacon Clem. Let us see what he can tell us. Aymeric. Not so very long ago, few would have imagined Ishgardian knights marching beyond the bounds of their own dominion. But we have ventured to the heart of Garlemald and fought for no less than the fate of the world itself. Our nation has changed and continues to do so. You've led it properly, because I know Aymeric's not like the king or whatever, but he was elected prime minister or something like that, right? He was elected the leader of whatever council rules this place right now. Clem. Lord Aymeric, Lord Artoirel, and the Saviour of Ishgard besides, you do me great honor. I am Clem. It's just such a plain name. Aymeric, Artoirel, and Bob. I am Clem, and I serve as a deacon here at St. Remenon's Cathedral. Aymeric. I understand you were among those at the Hoplon when the incident occurred. We give thanks to the Fury for your merciful preservation. We now seek to prevent the blasphemy from wreaking further havoc, and would appreciate any details you can provide. Loath though we are to make you recall unpleasant memories, will you not recount to us what you witnessed that day? Nod nod. Clem, very well. We are presently relocating the vault's libraries to the cathedral, in case you were unaware. Relocating the vault's libraries to the cathedral? Interesting, I don't know why. In case you were... Oh, okay, we'd finished delivering a batch of tomes, and we were on our way to bring another over. As we approached the Hoplon, we noticed a young man walking unsteadily. No sooner had he come to an abrupt halt than he transformed into a draconic beast. The fiend fixed us with a menacing glare, and it was all we could do to find our wits and flee. But to my compounding horror, my brethren who were with me began turning into monstrosities as well, one after another. Oh, that has to be traumatic as hell. Praise the Fury that you at least were spared, Deacon Clem. I don't know whose voice this is. I cannot imagine how frightening the experience must have been, haha. I'm just assuming it's Mickey Mouse until I see otherwise. It's not Mickey Mouse. Clem. Bishop Vartenois. Poor Clem, he's just surrounded by all these flowery names. Vartenois. Forgive me if I interrupt. I was informed that our stalwart protectors were present and wish to express my gratitude. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you for your service. I pray that we shall soon be free of this scourge. He has a lovely mustache. Indeed, if there is aught we might do to aid your efforts, you need but say it. Aymeric, you are most kind, your grace. Vartenois. Okay, good feeling about him, but that probably means he'll turn into a dragon and kill us all. Artoirel. That was Bishop Vartenois, the head of St. Raymonauds and a member of the Synod. With the seat of the Archbishop vacant, he is, in effect, the highest authority in the Ishgardian Orthodox Church. Right, because they brought in separation of church and state, basically, after Heavensward, right? Clem. That is so, and yet, in spite of his elevated station, he remains as kind and humble as any man I've ever known. Yeah, he seemed like a good dude. Like his grace, I would do all that I can to help shepherd our people through this uncertain time. I mean, of course, that's what they just introduced Chekhov's bishop, and they introduced the Chekhov's bishop here when it doesn't seem like super relevant. He's just, oh, hello, by the way, good luck. They're gonna fire Chekhov's bishop at some point. Like his grace, I would do all that I can to help shepherd our people through this uncertain time. To that end, there is a request I would make of you, if you can spare a moment to consider it. Yeah, what do you got? Artoirel. Of course, if it is within our power, we should be glad to offer you aid. Clem, thank you. Yeah, what do you need, Clem? Aymeric. The deacon was no less terrified by the blasphemy than his peers, yet he alone did not turn. By what grace was he spared? Maybe he's newer? Maybe he looks pretty young, so maybe he wasn't as invested in... Maybe his beliefs were still developing when the upheaval happened. Maybe he wasn't just shaken to his core in the same way by the revelations. I don't know. Artoirel. What manner of request could this be? His tone bespeaks urgency. Yeah, let's find out. Clem. In the wake of the transformations, a group of clergymen fled the city in fear. Yet though they sought refuge in the wilderness, they put themselves at the mercy of the elements and fell fiends both. Given that the cause of the transformation is not clear, I think theirs was a decidedly unwise decision. Yeah, they just brought themselves into... I mean, they couldn't have known this, but for all they knew, it was a physical plague and they had to get away. But no, they just went to a place that's going to stoke more fear and despair and probably turn them into blasphemies. I wish to set out and find them, but I am not trained in the ways of war. As such, I require those who are to accompany me in the search. Artoirel. So that's the way of it. Suffice it to say we will help. Do you know whither your fellows may have headed? Clem. The western highlands, I believe, between Gorganier Mills and Hemlock. I think it's Gorganier. I know that, the former baseball reliever was Eric Gagne and Gagne, so maybe it's Gagne. And Hemlock. There's no shortage of abandoned dwellings in the area. Isn't that where we found, where we first saw, not first, but where we saw Shiva's hideout, or Lady Iceheart's hideout? Aymeric. Very well. Time being of the essence, I propose we split up and scour the separate areas. Kukushu, if you could escort the good deacon to Gorganier Mills, Lord Artoirel and I will tend to Hemlock. Don't eat anything you find there. Quick question, unrelated to anything that's going on right now, but I'm currently at max gemstones and there's no maps or anything super special that I want to spend them on. Is there anything that you'd recommend buying with these that sell really well to vendors or on the market board with spare gemstones? Gorganier Holding. Clem. Oh, good. The Inquisitors are not monstrosities just yet, but they're pallid, which means they might be about to turn. Clem. That you should choose to abide in such harsh conditions. Yeah, let's find out what you're about, Pallid Inquisitor. You! Aymeric. Ah, I see you found them. We did. They look uncomfortable. Clem. Yes, and none the worse for the wear, thank the Fury. I mean, they seem pretty worse for the wear, but I see what you mean. They're not dead or frostbitten or anything. Clem. My friends, forgive us if we have given cause for alarm. We come out of concern for your well-being. Though we understand why you quit the city, we fear you may have placed yourselves at greater risk by coming here. His Grace Bishop Vartanois, too, worries for your health and prays for your swift return. So please, will you not allow us to escort you to the Holy See? I assure you, you will be much safer there than in this wretched place. You seem hesitant. You're not answering. Pallid Inquisitor. The servants of the Fury will never be safe in the city, don't you see? Yeah, you think you're just outcast now, that you have no place in this new world order? Yeah. This is your fault, you and your accursed revolution. The people disdain us, mock us behind our backs, and spit in our faces. I mean, it's still a tremendously religious society, and you have a lot to atone for. So I feel like this is one of those cases where when someone who's privileged loses that privilege but aren't oppressed, then all of a sudden they feel like they're oppressed because they're so used to that privilege. That it sort of feels like that. Even, and to the extent that they are being mocked, like, I think they kind of deserve it. I don't know, but I get that. I get why, subjectively, why this is so tough, or why this change has been so tough for him. Nod. Yeah, so the others are with him. Yeah, Aymeric is used to this. I mean, it doesn't feel good, but you could see he got over it pretty quickly. Pallid Inquisitor. And now someone is conspiring to transform us into monstrosities, enemies of the Church, I'll wager, emboldened by your deed. So, no, I will not go back to Ishgard. I'd sooner freeze to death than suffer your pity. Yeah, you're, okay, yep. Artoirel, what? Pallid Inquisitor. All I have ever done was in service to her. I am a good man. Hashtag not all Inquisitors. I do not, she cannot forsake me. Ah, shit. And these two the frightened nuns are gonna turn too, aren't they? Frightened nun. Heaven preserve. Because, like, it sounds like he wasn't, I didn't like the dude, but I don't want to kill him. It's not like he's the one who tossed the kid off the balcony or anything. He's just, yeah, he's, I don't know. He doesn't have great views, but it doesn't sound like he's done anything terrible himself, as far as we know. Aymeric. Kukushu, we cannot allow him to harm any others. Yeah, and there's no way to turn him back. Give chase and do what you must. We will remain here and keep the others calm. Stay calm, Pigeon. Don't turn into a blasphemy. Okay. Find and defeat the turned Inquisitor. Well, there he is. Sorry to do this. Not friend, but person who doesn't deserve this anyway. Oh, right, wrong job. The will of the... What did he say? The will of the Archbishop is sacrosanct, something like that? The wicked shall be punished. Yeah, he's still trying to do his thing. Rip Fell Beast. Rip Pallid Inquisitor. Ah, yeah, that's... I hope the nuns are going to be okay. They definitely agree with him, but, you don't have to turn. Artoirel. What of the beast? Yeah, I got it. Clem. All shall be well, my friends. Come, join me in prayer. Good guy, Clem. I like Clem. Aymeric. Is it done, Kakushu? It's done. Wasn't Clem the name of one of, like, the super friendly demons in the Buffy series? Aymeric. My thanks. What happened is most regrettable, but we must be grateful that no one else came to harm. While you were gone, the deacon was able to convince the others to return to the city. Oh, good. I'm glad. Let us escort them back at once, then reconvene at the congregation to consider our next course of action. For our purposes, we have the use of the strategy room. Announce yourself to the guard without, and he will show you in. Alright, the contingent goes off. And, yeah, this is not an escort quest, thankfully. I can just warp back there. Alright, we're in the strategy room. Aymeric. Here we shall discuss our plans to deal with the blasphemy. Whensoever you wish to enter, you need but say so to the guard. Artoirel. Here we go. Lest you wonder, we have taken the clergymen to St. Reminaud's to rest and recover. Aymeric. If truth be told, the thought that they might still succumb to despair and turn remains at the forefront of my mind. Yet the risk would be greater still if were we to keep them at arm's length and deny them the comfort of the church. Agreed. Artoirel. Indeed. From the words he spoke, the Inquisitor yearned for the days of old. Aymeric. He and others like him can scarcely be blamed. Aymeric is like a saint. He better be canonized after his death. By the way, his death being of old age, surrounded by loved ones. Like 80 years from now, or I guess he's an Elezen. How long did Elezen live? Probably a long time, right? Since the truth of the nation's founding and the Archbishop's machinations were made public, the Church has been in turmoil. Artoirel. Though we have made great strides in separating religion and state, there has been far less progress in the reformation of the Church. It's got to be such a long process. I mean, the people who are currently most ingrained into the church are the people who are most dedicated to it. Some of them fully believe. Very few of them, I think, probably benefited from the revelations. Some might be really good-hearted and want to make make amends, but that's a hard road to walk. For our faith has been everything to us, our purpose and our comfort. It is not an easy thing to reconcile one's beliefs with the betrayal of our spiritual leaders. Yeah, no, it's not. The Catholic Church is going strong, though. I mean, in the wake of God knows how many scandals, and televangelists exists, and people learn about they've been betrayed and they still have faith. So there's definitely paths out here. Aymeric. Thus torn between their hearts and their minds, many Ishgardians feel lost, and none more so than the members of the clergy whose faith was once unshakable. Artoirel. Little wonder, then, that the most dedicated and devout are like to turn. Yeah, it makes sense. It really does. Or at least the most ingrained, because I think that there is a distinction between those who are institutionally devoted to the church and those who are, like, of more flexible, of devoted religious belief, but more flexible in how it applies. Aymeric. So it seems, but further investigation is needed ere we draw a definite conclusion. With the war's end, Ishgard has set out on a new path. The choices we make now shall determine our course for the future. Come what may, we dare not squander the chance we have fought so hard to attain. Artoirel. Once the returned clergymen have sufficiently calmed down, I shall have the deacon speak with them, that we might gain insight into their individual plights. Aymeric. Good. Meanwhile, I shall take this opportunity to brief my men on recent developments. Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to overstate how important it is to know that not panicking stops you from turning into a blasphemy, or not just not panicking, but not despairing. Pray take a moment's rest, my friend. You have earned it. When you're ready to continue our work, you may seek us out here. Yeah, I think we got time for one more. Ba-ba-ba-ba. Yeah, the Sigil of Ishgard, or the Shield of Ishgard, or the Coat of Arms, or something of Ishgard. Artoirel. No forgiveness, no deliverance. That's an ominous name. Artoirel is eagerly awaiting Deacon Clem's report. Artoirel. Ah, Kakushu. Your timing could not be better. Deacon Clem has finished speaking with the rescued clergyman and will be here shortly to share his findings. Lord Aymeric, too, is on his way. Let's wait for them. Let us wait for them. I think with Ishgardians, it's important to not use contractions. I think they're super formal. I like the little purple flower in my hair. Welcome back, Clem. Artoirel. Deacon Clem, we thank you for making the inquiries on our behalf. Clem. 'Twas no imposition in the least. I think 'twas and stuff like that, like archaic contractions are okay. I don't think they're going to be saying, like, y'all, though. As I said, I am glad to do all I can. Aymeric. So, 'tis our understanding that those we escorted back were all close acquaintances of the Inquisitor who turned. Like him, they too had been the subject of harassment by certain quarters of the populace. Is this correct? And there is a difference between, like, losing your station and being actively harassed. Like, there is definitely a difference there. I feel bad that I was combining the two in my mind. It is, I'm afraid, and they are far from alone. Men of the cloth were once afforded the respect and deference of servants of Halone, but now they are openly reviled by many. We were complicit in perpetuating terrible lies, this is true, but we too were misled. We too are victims. Yet we are regarded by some as criminals. This is so tough. This whole situation is so tough because it's true on all, like so many great stories in Final Fantasy XIV. I understand the people who are openly reviling them, and I understand the people who are misled. And at the same time, thrown in for to make matters even more mixed up are the people who are actively unhappy that they can no longer oppress and like oppress others, like the more malicious of the Inquisitors. There's definitely those there. Aymeric. Well, I do understand the people's anger, but it saddens me to think they would thus lash out at their fellow man, especially when we need solidarity most of all. Though I can imagine your plight, I would not presume to fully grasp your pain. Will you tell us of the challenges you and yours have had to face since the war's end? Clem. Like all sons and daughters of Ishgard, we dreamed of peace in our lifetime, but now that it has come, we find we have little cause to rejoice. Our faith has long been the foundation of our lives, and overnight that foundation has been crippled by fractures, beyond repair for some. To learn that we had been deceived and that we had unwittingly deceived others in turn was devastating. And that's the thing. It's not just like you've been deceived, but that you've been an agent. As a person of the church, you'd been an agent of the deception. You'd been someone who enacted that harm on others. Like, it's not just, it's both you and the people who are in the layman were deceived, but it's a very different reaction. I mean, one is anger and guilt. We who had once been shepherds to men found ourselves lost lambs, bereft of surety and wanting for guidance. We have languished in darkness, all of us. Yet I have faith that the Church will redeem itself, that it will find a new path and again become a beacon of hope for the people. Aymeric. I see. Thank you for sharing this with us. Your testimony has confirmed our suspicions. Yeah. According to our allies, that which causes people to turn is none other than despair and anguish. If it wasn't before, it is now abundantly clear why members of the clergy are among the transformed. That you did not, I believe, is due to your unwavering faith in the Church. I guess so. I think it's due to the unwavering faith in the church, specifically in that in the foundations of the church, like in that, not in just the status it used to have, but in the faith that underlies it. In light of this, we would ask for your continued cooperation. No, I won't help. Yeah, Clem. Of course, anything to help my brethren. Good guy, Clem. Artoirel. Now that we have established the case, that leaves us the mystery of profane Fafnir's identity. The progenitor of these troubles, could he too have been a man of the cloth? No. Interesting. Clem, from what I recall of his garb, I doubt it. He was dressed in the common fashion and inadequately against the cold besides. Aymeric. 'Tis said that something of the individual may remain in the blasphemy, influencing its behavior. If we can determine what instincts drive profane Fafnir, we may learn who it once was, and this knowledge, I believe, will prove vital in our efforts to stop it. Sounds reasonable. Deacon Clem, we ask that you reach out to your fellow clergymen. Please do what you can to ease their anxieties. I go back and forth on whether you should tell people about that despair and terror can turn them into blasphemies. On one hand, that knowledge can guard them. On the other hand, it can be like telling someone on a high, like who's on walking on a tightrope 200 feet in the air, to look down, just to be aware of their surroundings. Like, yes, they'll probably be more careful, like to not fall, but on the other hand, they'll be more likely to die because the pressure itself adds pressure. Like the consequences, the risk, all that, you know what I mean. Clem, understood. As I have ever done, I shall provide what comfort I can to those in need. Comfort I can to those in need. Aymeric. Meanwhile, we must make it a priority to identify the blasphemy. To that end, I would seek out more eyewitnesses. The Hoplon is a busy place at any given time. Some ordinary citizens are bound to have been present as that tragic event unfolded. I propose we make inquiries in the Pillars. If you could attend to the Hoplon, Lord Artoirel and I will look in the surrounding areas. Yes. I wonder if they're going to have... I didn't notice this. It would be really cool... I don't think they'll actually do this, but it would be really cool if they brought back for the various quest completion music, the music from that expansion. So, like, if as you were doing the Ishgard role quests, you get like the organ playing with quest completion if you did, and so on. Sociable citizen. Your skin is like the snow, your eyes like sapphires. Oh, they're getting poetry. Sociable citizen. No, I didn't see that dragon, nor would I have wished to, frightful as it sounds. They say it wasn't a Dravanian attack, but if not, then what was it? Yeah, not much new from you. You were not helpful, sociable citizen. Spirited citizen. The dragon that appeared at the Hoplon. I saw it with my own eyes. One moment in Elezen, the next a terrible beast. He was a heretic, I take it. He was... We don't know. Maybe he was, but probably not. I actually had forgotten about that. That the heretics in Ishgard could transform into dragons. That they were the ones who, like in, I think it was Snowcloak that we first saw, like drinking dragon blood and just transforming. So, yeah, that's actually a good guess. Staid citizen. I wasn't present for the incident at the Hoplon, but a young man poorly dressed for the cold, that I did see. I recall him because an aide from St. Vandro's was searching for him. He was a patient at the infirmary and, by coincidence, had the same name. So we got a sibling? Artoirel. Were you able to learn anything? Aymeric. There you are, Kakushu. Did your search yield any fruit? It did. It yielded fruit from the last dude. A patient of the Firmament's infirmary, you say? I do. Artoirel. Among those with whom I spoke, one claims to have witnessed an individual fitting that description. A man walking in a stupor who did not seem to feel the cold. If he had wandered straight out of the infirmary, it would explain his state of attire. That actually makes a lot of sense. Aymeric. Yes, I dare say we have found our blasphemy, but to think his name should be Vaindro, what does that name mean to you, Aymeric? 'Tis the same as that of the former Heavensward commander Sir Vaindro de Rouchemond, for whom the infirmary is named. Oh! So he had... If he's a sibling, then he had the double whammy of being betrayed by family and the church. Or maybe it was just... Maybe he didn't feel betrayed, maybe he knew about what was going on, but he just was crushed at losing his brother or father or something. Artoirel. Sir Vaindro, however, retired from his station at a ripe old age some years ago. Oh, so he wasn't one of the Knights of the Round that we fought. Okay. Retired from his station at ripe old age some years ago. It does not like to have been him. In any case, we have a lead. That's right, he was named... Well, no. Anyway. I was going to say the infirmary was named after him, so he's probably old, but sometimes infirmaries and stuff like that or hospitals are named after living people, but it is pretty rare. In any case, we have a lead. I shall head to the infirmary at once. Pray wait for me in the broom. Artoirel. This is Loverick, the aide who was in charge of St. Vaindro. Of Vaindro, not St. Vaindro. Loverick. Have you found him? Oh, please say you have. Yeah, he's... You can see him flying every so often. Aymeric. We have not, I am afraid, but we seek to and hope that you could tell us more about him. May we ask how he came to be at the infirmary? Loverick. He was found by patrol in the Central Highlands. After being treated for his hurts, he was brought to us for convalescence. Being in the prime of his years, he had been doing well, but then... Excuse me. Aymeric. Prime of his years. By all accounts, he is no old man. Okay, so Sir Vaindro isn't dead, but he is old. Okay. By all accounts, it is safe to assume it isn't Sir Vaindro. Loverick. Oh, no, he's definitely a different person, as I told Lord Artoirel. And though he gave his name as Vaindro, he seemed rather confused, and we had no means to confirm his identity. So he could have been like a son or something like that, but he also could have been a... He could have been like just some random person who was just saying the name of the infirmary he was at. In his state, he shouldn't be wandering all about on his own. Please, you must find him. Aymeric, the man who recently turned into a beast at the Hoplon. We regret to say it may have been Vaindro. Loverick. What? No! How can this be? Artoirel. Is there aught else you can tell us? Things he may have said or done while in your care? Did you do this to him? Loverick. While he was still unconscious, he would often ramble. Though most of it was incoherent, he mentioned the Archbishop many times. Oh, and he spoke of a bishop too, Bishop Vartinois. I assumed he was a pious man, given this. Okay. I am now a sus of Vartinois. Aymeric. I see. Thank you for your cooperation. We will continue our own investigation, and should we confirm what became of Vaindro, inform you forthwith. Alright, thank you. Thank you, Loverick. See you down the line. Artoirel. Let us return to the congregation for now. Interesting. No real sense of what to make of... I mean, I have guesses, but nothing really to go on just yet. Aymeric. Who could this Vaindro be? Artoirel. The mystery remains, but we are one step closer to identifying the man who became profane Fafnir. Not done. Aymeric. Indeed, though he did not at first appear to be a member of the clergy, his words betray a fervent faith. And how curious that he should speak not only of the Archbishop, but Bishop of Artoirel specifically. Artoirel. Perhaps he was personally acquainted with his grace. Yeah, I get the sense that Artoirel wasn't, at least at that time, wasn't a... No, he was still a public figure. So, yeah, it doesn't have to be a personal connection yet. In light of the possibility, I believe we should speak with him directly. Aymeric. Agreed. I will request an audience, but His Grace has many demands upon his time. It may be a while before we are seen. Even from you, Aymeric? I would think that it would be like the Kremlin picking up the red phone to call the White House, that sort of thing. Aymeric. Should you have other business, pray feel free to attend them in the meantime. No forgiveness, no deliverance complete. Yeah, so it's just the standard quest completion music. I think it would have been a neat touch to have like the Ishgard music for this, but but anyway, very small one. Level 88. So that's going to be it for me for now. Next time, trade enhanced acceleration. What does this do? Allows the accumulation of charges for consecutive uses of acceleration. I forgot what acceleration is. I just know the abilities by their icons. Oh! Consecutive uses. Oh, that's really good. Anyway, okay, so that's going to be it for me for now. Thanks for watching. Next time we will continue with this role quest. See you later. Bye-bye.